Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome into Great Awakener Ether Realm. My name is Kimberly, and I want to start off by apologizing. I wasn't able to release a reading for last week. I was very busy at work, so I am going to do a 2-week report here, starting from the February 3rd, Monday, until the 16th. If you want to listen to it and maybe see if any of it resonated from last week, that's awesome. If you let me know if anything resonated as well, or didn't resonate, or if you just want to skip into this week, obviously you're more than welcome to. Okay, but I am going to start off Monday, February 3rd. The moon is conjunct Chiron in Aries and square Mars in Cancer. So Mars rules Aries and the moon rules Cancer. So you've got a mutual reception going on here. Although it's a square, it makes it to where the energy flow is easier. Okay. For you, Aries is your romance sector, and then Cancer is your 8th house of other people's money, taxes, debts, sex, intimacy, death, transformation, okay, rebirth. Aries is your 5th house of children, romance, creativity. So you might have something going on here with let's see, maybe romance and intimacy, or you could have something going on with maybe your children might need money, just throwing out some scenarios there. With the moon also being conjunct Chiron in Aries. Now, Chiron has been in Aries since 2018. It's an energy that we have all gotten used to, but it's not something that you feel a whole lot like outwardly until something like the moon comes in and conjuncts it, or of course if Mars squares it, so, or any planet really. But when you have a square and a conjunction, it just makes that energy just felt that much more. So Monday the 3rd, you might have something going on with children or a romantic partner. Okay. Then we have Mercury trine Jupiter at 11 degrees. Mercury is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Gemini. Aquarius is your 3rd house of community. It has to do with communication, short distance travel, neighbors, siblings, people that you are in contact with on a regular basis. Okay. And then Gemini is your 7th house of partnerships. Now, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and Jupiter is in Gemini, has been for close to a year now. And of course, Jupiter is your ruling planet. So you've got, it's not a mutual reception going on here, but it is a friendly reception, we'll call it that. So a nice trine going on between Mercury and Jupiter with your community and your partnership sector. That starts off to be a good week on Monday. Then we also went into this, but we have Mars square Chiron. Okay. And then the moon moves into Taurus, where it then creates a square to Pluto in Aquarius. Taurus is your 6th house of daily habits, your work, your health routine, anything that you do on a daily basis is being highlighted and then squared by Pluto in Aquarius, again, your community sector. So a good amount of emphasis going on your community sector for the beginning of the week. Okay, I was just thinking if there's anything else that I wanted to add to that. Then we have Venus moving into Aries, also on Monday the 3rd, going into the 4th as well. Venus doesn't really like being in Aries too much. It's in its detriment placement, but it still works out well for you because Venus is a benefactor. It's good anywhere, but it just gets frustrated in Aries. So Aries is your 5th house. So more emphasis on children, romance, and creativity. I'm going to point out that if you are looking to create babies, this is going to be a good time to do that with Venus in Aries. Okay, if you are not looking to create a baby, protect yourself. Okay. Let's see, Tuesday the 4th, we have Jupiter direct at 11 degrees. Of course, that is your ruling planet. It's always a good sign for you. Again, it's in your 7th house of partnerships, whether romantic or business. There may have been something these past 5 months while Jupiter was retrograde that you felt that you had to review and think about. When it goes into direct motion, you can start implementing those ideas. Okay. Then from Tuesday into Wednesday, we have a whole lot of action from the moon, just out of the gate. So we have Moon square Mercury in Aquarius. Then we have Moon sextile Saturn in Pisces, which is your home sector. We have Moon sextile Mars in your 8th house. We have the Moon conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And then we have the Moon sextiling Neptune in Pisces again. Pisces is your home sector of home and family. Aquarius is your community sector. Aries is your children, romance, creativity sector. Cancer is your 8th house of other people's money and sex, death, transformation. All of these are going to get hit in one day. And then, of course, Taurus, again, is your 6th house of daily habits. Uranus is the Great Awakener. It's been in Taurus for since 2019. And it's probably caused a lot of chaos and upheaval in your work sector, your daily habits. Now, that's what Uranus is supposed to do. It kind of brings chaos and conflict so that you can find resolutions for what has happened. Okay, kind of get your thinker thinking. So you might have had a lot of transformation going on in your work sector, your health, possibly a lot of health problems, or but hopefully things that you could find solutions for. So with all of that going on Wednesday, like that, the moon hitting all of those aspects so quickly is just, your emotions could go up and down and up and down. Okay. And it being in your 6th house sector, a lot of focus on your daily habits and routines. Okay. Then the moon goes into Gemini, which is your 7th house, where it sextiles Venus and trines Pluto, and then goes into a conjunction with Jupiter. Now, you may have seen these conjunctions in the sky if you're a stargazer at all. I find it pretty profound when you look at a chart like this and then you see it in the sky, and make that connection. But so partnerships, children, romance, creativity, and then your community. I'm telling you, like I tell everyone else, every single planet is in between Aquarius to Cancer right now. And it's going to be that way for a bit until about April, I believe. So for you, that is that's a lot of people, you know. You're looking at your community, your home and family, your children, creativity and romance, your work sector, health sector, partnerships, and then your intimacy sector. Okay, so a lot of focus on other people at the moment. You know, it could get exhausting. Going into Friday the 7th, Venus sextiles Pluto. Okay, again, fifth house sextiling your third house, community, children, romance. Okay, maybe you might start a romance with a neighbor. Maybe you might start a creative project with a sibling. Just throwing some scenarios out here. You know, maybe you might be doing some short distance travel with a child. So many, you know, whatever falls in those categories, something could be within there. Okay. Now I've told everybody about Venus and Pluto. You know, a lot of people say the lovers are Venus and Mars of astrology, which, you know, it's true. But Pluto, the story of Persephone and Pluto is also very big in mythology, and it has to do with Venus. So Venus is going to go retrograde March 1st, which is just a few weeks away. All right. It's going to come up to about Chiron, and then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces, where the last video I made, I spoke about this huge conjunction that we had with Venus, Neptune, the moon, and the lunar nodes. Venus is going to come back and make a conjunction with that point there. Okay, again, very karmic. When there's a sextile between Venus and Pluto, you can also call them, you know, well, you can also call them the lovers, in my opinion, because of the stories behind it. So right now, Venus is considered the evening star because it's setting in the west after the sun goes down. Okay, when Venus turns retrograde and comes back this way, the sun is going to overtake Venus. When the sun conjuncts Venus, we can't see it for quite some time until it comes out of the sun's rays, right? So you have the evening star, and then when it comes out on the other side, it's now going to rise before the sun in the eastern sky, and is now going to be called the morning star. But it has three nicknames: evening star, morning star, and Lucifer. The reason for that being, the story behind Pluto and Persephone. Pluto has a crush on Persephone and kidnaps her, takes her to the underworld. Her mother, Demeter, or Ceres, whether you go by Greek or Roman mythology, she, you know, petitions to Zeus, which is Persephone's father, to get her released. He comes up with a compromise with Pluto that 6 months Persephone is in the underworld and 6 months she's in the upper world with her mother. So when she's with her mother is the goddess of agriculture, and she seeds everything and makes it grow and is beautiful, you know, spring and summer. And then when Persephone goes into the underworld, Demeter doesn't plant anymore, and then everything dies, you know, fall and winter. And then the story goes, you know, the evening star, and then she goes into the underworld, and then comes out the morning star. That's why the reference to Lucifer with the morning star there. So I just want to let you know that, because it could be affecting your romance and children and creativity here in a couple weeks. Okay, March 1st isn't too far off, and Venus will start slowing down in its shadow period. Okay. All right. So moving on to with Friday the 7th, we've got another whole thing going on with the moon again, okay? We've got the moon trine Mercury at 17 degrees. Just get that. Okay. Then we have a square to Saturn at 18 degrees. Then we have a trine to the Sun at 18 degrees. And then we have a sextile to Chiron at 19 degrees. And then we have the Sun coming in to also make a sextile to Chiron at 19 degrees. Then we have the Moon going on later that day to square Neptune. A whole lot of activity in, again, just making all of these angles. Again, your community sector is completely blown up, okay? Especially, you know, you have Pluto, Mercury, and the Sun there. Pluto's going to be there for the next 19 years. I discussed this in previous videos. With Saturn being in Pisces, your home sector for the last 2 years, you may have had some struggles in your home and family sector. Okay, and but then of course you have, you know, the trines and sextiles going on, which help with those squares. Okay, with the energy of those squares. But Friday is going to be one of those days that's just kind of up and down with just all the. You need to look at the moon as a reflector, as an amplifier. You know, it rules emotions, and just how the moon reflects the sunlight, it also reflects all of the other energies of all of the other planets. Okay. Now, when you have the Sun sextile in Chiron, I already went into Chiron quite a bit, but you know, you've probably been doing some healing around children, romance, and creativity since 2018, and then the Sun just comes in to highlight that a little more, just give it a little more energy. Okay. Saturday the 8th, the Moon moves into Cancer, where it squares Venus in your 5th house. And then Mercury comes in to also sextile Chiron. Another, you know, a little more energy towards little Chiron there, okay? The Wounded Healer is all about healing your wounds. You know, it's a lot about doing shadow work, okay? So the Moon comes in and squares Venus in Aries, and then Mercury comes in and sextiles Chiron in Aries. So you got a lot of healing, a lot of emphasis on your 5th house there. Okay, Cancer is your 8th house, other people's money, intimacy, sex, death, transformation. The Moon also rules Cancer, so there's just more emphasis on that. Going into Sunday the 9th, Mercury comes in and conjuncts the Sun at 20 degrees, and then it's going to overtake it. Mars trine Saturn, Mars in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces, and then the Moon comes in to amplify that energy. So we are already past Sunday the 9th, but you know, 8th house of, you know, again, other people's money. So, you know, debts, taxes, loans, you know, and then sex, death, intimacy, transformation. Trining your 4th house of home and family. The 4th house also has to do with the mother, okay? So your 4th house and your 8th house are very private houses. So you're probably going to be feeling kind of, you know, wanting to stay home and kind of veg probably for the weekend of the 9th. Let's see. We also so we had this square the beginning of the week, you know, Aries to Chiron, and then the Moon comes around and squares, does another square, but this time conjuncting Mars square Chiron. So same problem, but viewed from a different angle. Okay. And then we have the moon sextiling Uranus. Uranus and Taurus is your daily habits again. Health. You know, we already went through this, but 6th house and 8th house here. So maybe you might be spending some money to, you know, I don't know, buy a gym membership, or, you know, maybe you might be taking out a loan to, I don't know, change up some daily habits, right? And then we have the moon. Let's see here. Sextile Uranus. Then the moon comes in and trines Neptune, which again is your home sector. A lot of emphasis on home and family. And then, you know, again, 8th and 4th house. Then we have the moon moving into Leo, where it opposes Pluto and trines Venus. Leo is your 9th house of expansion, which is a really good house for you because the sun is the biggest. The sun rules Leo, so it's the, you know, biggest guy on the block, right before, you know, your ruler Jupiter. So you love your expansion. You are the ruler of the natural ruler of the 9th house of expansion. Okay. So it's going to come in and oppose Pluto, which is the ruler of Scorpio, which is your 12th house. So we have emphasis on your 4th house, your 8th house, and your 12th house. Very private sectors. Okay, again, you might want to just kind of be alone, you know, for a bit. All right. And then we have the moon sextiling Jupiter, your planet. And this is your partnership sector. This is your expansion sector. Okay. Now, partnerships can be either business or romantic. Okay. And then Tuesday going into Wednesday, we have a lot of stuff happening at the same time. So we have Mercury coming in to square Uranus and Taurus. Then we have the sun squaring Uranus and Taurus. And then we have the moon coming in, opposing the sun to make a full moon in Leo. So, you know, this makes a T-square. And we also have the Mercury in there to add to the conjunction. Aquarius is your 3rd house of community. Again, your 3rd house is all about your community within, like, your, you know, within a fence. It's kind of, you know, you all speak the same language. You all have the same culture. You grew up in the same school. You know, that's kind of how you look at your community, your neighbors, your siblings, okay, short distance travel. And the sun, the sun rules Leo, okay, which is the ruler of your expansion zone. Anything outside of this fence, right? And it's what you rule is the 9th house of expansion, okay? So different cultures, different languages, long distance travel, higher learning other than, you know, your early learning, going to college, okay? Learning something outside of your community. So then this square comes in to do, this opposition comes in to do a T-square with Uranus and Taurus. So Uranus rules Aquarius. The sun rules Leo. And we also have Pluto, which is also a fixed sign, a fixed planet that rules Scorpio, which is a fixed sign. Okay, so we have a lot of emphasis on fixed energy right now. Fixed energy is all about making decisions and sticking with them, being very firm in your decisions and not being wishy-washy. So the moon, the full moon coming in, that's about illuminating something, okay? And this is in your expansion zone. So something is about to be illuminated in your higher learning, different cultures, learning something different outside of your community, okay? Now, these are very easy, nice houses towards you, you know, your third and your ninth house, very easy house. But with the square going on to Uranus, it still can bring a lot of awakening and a lot of epiphanies, okay? Taurus is, again, your sixth house of daily habits. It looks like there's going to be a lot of emphasis on you changing up your daily habits for one reason or another. Okay, maybe your work schedule, maybe your health routine, okay? But whatever it is, Mercury is also involved, which is the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. Gemini is your partnership sector, and then Virgo is your career sector. So it could also be bringing up something with your career and reputation and your partnership sector as well. And we've already went over that we have a lot of emphasis on your partnership sector already. So, okay. And that happens at 24 degrees. If you have any natal planets at 24 degrees or within about 5 degrees of that, those will be getting triggered the most. Okay? So then the moon goes into Virgo. And there's a little bit of a respite. The moon doesn't make any other angles until it hits a square with Jupiter and Gemini. So from 24 degrees to 11 degrees, that's 17 degrees of the moon just gets to be the moon, and it just gets to sit in its feelings. So whatever happened here, you know, it can kind of go on and just be the moon. You know, you can just reflect on your feelings of whatever happened here. And you don't have any other distractions, okay, until, of course, the moon does this square with Jupiter and Gemini. Again, your career and your partnership sector. So luckily, that's the only thing that happens on Thursday, really. So it's, you know, not too shabby, right? So the 14th on Friday, Valentine's Day, the moon sextiles Mars at 17 degrees, okay? And then it opposes Saturn at 18 degrees. Again, Cancer is your 8th house, and Pisces is your home sector, your home and family. So you could be having some kind of decision to make between like career and home and your finances. Okay? That looks like the biggest thing right there. Yeah, I mean, with the trine between Saturn and Mars, it looks like something is working out in your favor because it's a trine. Okay? It may have taken some discipline, maybe to get your finances up, possibly. But Mars is in retrograde at the moment, but will be going forward February 23rd. And then it will come back and make another trine to Saturn. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, it's still looking good. Whether it's, you know, you have this opposition, but then you have this sextile and this trine going on here. Okay? Let's see, we also then have Mercury moving into Pisces, also on the 14th. Mercury does not like being in Pisces. It's in its detriment, which I did find it funny on how many planets are in their detriment at the moment. So we have we have the Sun is in detriment in Aquarius. Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Aries, and